How's it going, guys? I'm Danny. Wait a minute. I've worn this same hoodie for like 4 videos now. But I really like this hoodie. I've got an idea. How's it going, guys? I'm Danny, and this week we're talking about wobble. You might know it as off-axis torque. If you've ever thrown a disc and seen it fly like a wounded duck out of your hand, that's what it is. That's supposed to be what I've drawn back here. It's a duck with crutches. It's a wounded duck. Not really my best work, but that's okay. So some people call it a wounded duck. It's called off-axis torque because it's caused by any force that isn't in line with the disc on the angle that it's trying to be thrown at. So if you're throwing a hyzer, you want everything in your shot to be on this same hyzer angle, and that's going to cause a smooth release. If your grip is off or your follow through is in a different direction, that's what's going to cause the wobble. The wobble has caused everything from people complaining that stilettos aren't overstable enough to throwing really, really hard and the disc only going 300 feet. And that's because the wobble does 2 things. The first is it destabilizes. Because it's got so much turbulence around here, around this wobble, the disc is gonna flip a little bit more. And because it's wobbling so much and creating all that turbulence, it's not gonna fly nearly as far. So here's how to fix it. In a backhand, you wanna make sure that your reach back is on the angle you're trying to throw. And you keep the disc on that angle, and your follow through needs to be most frequently up. If you're throwing a hyzer, your follow through should be up over your right shoulder rather than flat like you would if you were throwing a flat shot. Or if you're throwing an anhyzer, you need to follow through down so that your follow through is on the same angle as the disc. If you're trying to throw a hyzer but then you follow through flat or down, that's gonna be that other angle that's not on the hyzer, and it's gonna cause the wobble and the disc is gonna flip over. For forehand, like I talked about earlier, rolling the wrist isn't always the issue. I keep my wrist sideways when I throw, so my follow through is like this. The issue is more accurately described as not a clean follow through. If I'm throwing a hyzer forehand, my follow through is again gonna be up by my left shoulder here. That's gonna be on the same plane that I'm trying to throw, and that's gonna cause a clean release. If I'm throwing a flat shot, that's when my follow through should be across my chest, and only when I'm throwing an anhyzer do I wanna follow through down like most people do when they roll their wrist. The other fix, besides keeping everything on the same plane, is to spin the disc more. If you get your hand on the outside of the disc rather than the front, the disc is gonna have a lot more rotation when it releases, and that's gonna just overcome the wobble by sheer force. If the disc just isn't spinning enough, it's gonna wobble. The issue could also be your grip. You wanna grip the disc so that you have one point of contact that the disc releases off of. For me, it's right over this first knuckle on my pointer finger. If I release all 4 fingers at the same time, one of those fingers could catch on the disc or it might not release correctly, and that's gonna cause a wobble. So focus on pinching the disc almost between your pointer and your thumb, and that's gonna cause a more clean release. So if you think this is your issue, here's how to fix it. Step 1 is to take a video. This is one of those things that's really hard to feel. You can't really feel if you're doing it correctly. So you really need to take a video, usually from like the back left, so you can check your follow through and make sure everything's on the same line. And if it's not, just focus on that one thing and work on it until it's fixed. This is an easy fix to make. Usually it just takes about 30 minutes in a field of throwing, and you can assimilate into your form and move forward from there. For forehand, you wanna make sure your thumb stays above the rest of your hand and that your follow through is in line with the shot. Most people are trying to throw hyzers forehand, so you wanna follow through up. Only when you're throwing a flat shot or an anhyzer do you wanna follow through down. So most often you just have to raise your follow through with a forehand. So that's all I've got for you guys. Thanks for watching. You can check out my channel on YouTube for more. It's under my name, Danny Lindahl. And until next time, remember, slow is smooth and smooth is far.